Well, Super Tuesday is next week, and a lot of candidates have come to Utah leading up to the vote.
Election season and many aspects of the political races can get kind of confusing.
Yeah, excuse me.
Berto Sanchez is in studio with a Brigham Young University political science professor to help break down the political season and climate. Berto.
And joining us now is Dr. Jessica Priest, Professor of Political Science at Brigham Young University. Dr. Priest, thank you for joining us.
Of course, happy to be here.
Thank you. So 2020 is a big year in politics.
Very big.
Very big. Tell us what's happening.
So we've got the 2020 presidential election, state elections here in Utah and other states. Lots of exciting things happening, and of course the primary election going on right now.
So for people who don't know, there's primaries, there's caucuses. What's the difference?
So primary elections are sort of what you standardly think of when you think of an election. You go to a voting booth, you check a box, you're good. Or if you're doing vote by mail, you get your ballot in the mail, check the box, put it back in the mail. Caucuses are different. They're community meetings where you show up with all of your neighbors and you have discussions and debates about who should be the candidate, and then at the end, people then voice their opinion.
That's okay. That sounds pretty cool. Now, Utah's been getting a lot of attention lately with the candidates running for president. We've had Pete Buttigieg, Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders is coming the day before Super Tuesday. What does that mean? Why do you think Utah is getting a lot of attention lately?
So Utah used to have their primary later in the season, and so by the time Utah was voting, it kind of didn't matter. Usually the candidate was already decided. But now we're a Super Tuesday state, and so that is exciting because candidates are paying a lot more attention. We're earlier in the cycle, and our votes matter more.
And based on what we have been seeing right now, what is your prediction? Who do you think is going to be the nominee?
Well, that's really hard. It's still up in the air. Right now, Bernie Sanders is leading, but it's likely to be the case that Biden will do well in South Carolina, and it's sort of anybody's guess about Super Tuesday. So traditionally what happens after Super Tuesday is some of the candidates that haven't performed as well will drop out and endorse other candidates, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that.
So it could be just anyone right now.
Really, it could be.
Scooby-Doo.
Could be Scooby-Doo.
Now, the outcome of the election in November is going to be historical. Whether we have a new president, maybe a woman president, maybe a Democratic Socialist president, or for the first time in American history, an impeached, re-elected president. What does that mean?
I mean, every presidential election is really important, so that's worth thinking about. But of course, President Trump has been quite controversial, and some people love him, some people hate him, and so really whatever ends up happening will be important on that front.
Now, what can we do to get involved?
Great question. So if you haven't already registered to vote, you should register to vote. If you've already received your mail-in ballot, then send it back in. And if you haven't registered or haven't received a mail-in ballot, you can still do same-day registration here in Utah. Show up at the polling place, register to vote, and you can get a provisional ballot. And as long as your registration goes through, you'll be good to go.
Sounds pretty simple.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
do it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Make sure to cast your ballot in these coming elections. And thank you, Dr. Priest.
Happy to help.
Thank you. Back to you guys.